I am the Commissar, that's my name. Forged alliance forever, that's the game. Who have we got with a claim to fame? Today, 4 players face off in a 2v2 custom game. We have the northeastern team and the southwestern team. Going first for the northeastern team, this is Judoka 1972 Noob, who is 1800 rated. He is UEF and he is in Burgundy. And his ally is Gamer 9XXX, 1400 rated, Cybran, in bright red. And their foes on the southwestern team. Down here we have MaximusXXX, who is 1600 rated in orange, and last but by no means least, our only non-red sort of coloured player of the day is ChaosNoob, 1600 rated, Seraphim in grass green. So we have a UEF and a Cybran versus 2 Seraphims. And the map is called Dunes of Arracis. You think, isn't that meant to be Arracis? Well, maybe, but that's a C. It's Dunes of Arracis. And I wish they'd spelt it right. Can you tell that irritates me a bit? 'Cause it does. No need to walk without rhythm. You won't attract the worm. Wrong planet. Anyway. Early aggression at before 1 minute 30. 2 Selines out from Maximus. Let's have a quick look at the map. 5 starting bases, each with a decent number of mexes. I think that's average of 5 each, maybe a bit more. And a hydro on these plateaus, so those are well defended. You can see they're choke pointed up. 5 pairs of hydros across the middle, and mexes everywhere. Map control is super important because the more of this you hold, the more of these mexes you got. It's fairly evenly distributed, and there's a lot of them. And as if that weren't enough, look at all that reclaim. The reclaim is dotted everywhere. It's in the form of thousands and thousands of individual rocks. So you want to have engineers out permanently reclaiming. These actual dunes can be important because they're quite tall. So they can block fire. Despite the fact that they just look like gentle waves, they're quite tall. Anyway, those 2 Selines we mentioned. That's good positioning because the comm's only going to be coming out of one of these, and you might pick up engineers coming out of the other. So this one's going to run into the comm, but this one's going to sit here. Yeah, sit here and see what happens and maybe get an engineer. But what it sees is a bomber. Judoka has gone first land, second air, and his first thing out of the air factory is a bomber, and the Celine has indeed seen it. And the bomber has seen the Celine. So they know what's coming. And look at that, look at that delicious reaction from Maximus. He's immediately queued up at 2 anti-air tanks to counter that bomber. But that bomber is going to get its paws into these expanding engineers from Maximus, which is pretty delicious because it has forced Maximus not only to rebuild the engineers, but also to spend the time sending them out here all over again. So, good work from Judoka there. And it comes back in for another pass. Looks like it's heading here. Maybe get a 3rd engineer. But there's anti-air tanks everywhere now. It does get a 3rd engineer and 2 Selines, but that anti-air tank pops it off map, so Maximus doesn't get the reclaim. Overall, good play from Judoka there, who now has some labs coming out. Gamer, however, has gone straight into the spam. Look at this trickle of Mantis running out across here. And he's definitely keen on the spam. Big heap of factories. And is that more I see being queued? Ooh, is that... That's a lot of factories. 12 land factories queued up for Gamer. He is going into relentless spam there. And we've got 9 for Judoka, who stopped even building any air after that initial bomber. So this feels like it's going to be quite the spam fest. And these guys are no slouches either, but they haven't got anywhere near the factory plans that the northeastern team have. Few labs coming down here. Maximus's comm is heading out this way, and I'm guessing that these scout planes mean that Judoka can see it. So his labs are running in the bottom. They might catch this little trio of anti-air tanks, which will be a good snag for them. And a little raid comes down from Gamer here. It's going to run into a few tanks from Chaos and maybe his comp, so Gamer will have to be careful. Chaos sends 2 tanks up here and 2 tanks here. These ones are caught out by the incessant waves of spam that Gamer is building, but these ones are safe and might even catch an engineer from Jidoka. So those labs, they've killed one of the anti-airs, but then some tanks from Maximus came and some tanks from Jidoka came, and that looks like it's going to be a bit of a no-score draw. The tanks here from Gamer have been caught out by Chaos's common units and killed off. Oh, that's nice. These 2 tanks have found an engineer kill here, and despite the fact that Gamer's comm is here, they're focusing the engineers. They found 2 engineer kills. 3 engineer kills, nice work. It won't stop Gamer building here because not only has he already got a factory up, he's got his comm there. But 3 engineers, quite nice kill, and there's another push from Chaos heading across the middle, which does indeed bag Jidoka's engineer. Meanwhile, Jidoka is dropping down here with 4 engineers on a transport, but Maximus has tanks heading down that way, so I think that those NGs are in for a rough time. Chaos's push gets a NG and a mix, which is nice. And both Chaos and Jidoka pull a lot of their units back, which might mean there's a chance for more to happen here. Like, can Chaos do something with this? While all of these units are out of position. Meanwhile, those NGs have dropped, but they're immediately eaten up by those tanks of Maximus, but Jidoka has a decent swarm coming down here, which will force Maximus to fight on. So this area down here feels like a bit of a no man's land at the moment. And 2 of those tanks for Chaos actually managed to get on past and might continue to cause damage, but they've met the walls of spam moving out of Gamer's base, and I don't think they're going to get any more work done. Gamer tries another little push down the left, but there's units from Chaos there. There's enough to stop them. Sure, Chaos loses energy, but he's got more trickling in, and there's enough there to stop that raid. Gamer's got a decent amount massing around his comm, though, and he is perhaps in a position to threaten Chaos. Everybody's still naked, though. Nobody got a single upgrade. Everybody naked, just the way we like. Wait a minute. Anyway. What was I saying? I got distracted by talking about everybody being naked. Gamer sends more dudes through the middle, and he repays this one by getting a mix kill off Chaos. And Chaos retreats several of his units to try and take it out. But that means that Chaos's comm is quite lonely here against a decent amount of Gamer spam plus Gamer's comm, and it feels like Gamer might have a chance here to inflict some significant damage. Because by sending dudes around here and here, he's brought Chaos's forces out of position, and Chaos's comm is surrounded quite early. Could we see an early ejection from this game? But Gamer's comm is not fast enough, and I think that these tanks on its own aren't going to do the deed. Especially now that these little raids have been dealt with and Chaos can bring his spam in to help. He's into the yellow, but I don't think it's going to get much worse than that for him, and Gamer's comm is falling back. And that force of Gamers is going to be eating. There's more from Jidoka coming, but it's too late to make a difference in this particular battle. Down here, Maximus massing troops in the south, and Jidoka sending a few to respond, but we've got our first upgrades. Maximus and Jidoka going for gun, Gamer going for T2, Chaos still opting to go freeballing. Now Jidoka has actually got a decent force here. It's being met by both Maximus and Chaos, but it's pushed Chaos back a bit. And map control definitely in the hands of the northeastern team today. Turrets going up will defend from this relentless trickle of spam from Gamer. and Maximus forms up in the south, but that is a bad formation. Look at that side angle there, and Jidoka is simply able to flank it, getting a delicious engage there and eating up several of Maximus' tanks for very little loss to himself. So nice move from Jidoka there, or bad move from Maximus, whichever way you care to consider it. These forces still looking pretty even, but we cannot deny that that is far more map control for Gamer. He's been a little slow in expanding to it with his engineers, though I see a few more here and here, and I hope he's got those. Yeah, look, he's got those queued up. Though speaking of eco, the northeastern team is slightly ahead, but only just by 20 mass per tick. And the southwestern team has actually accrued more mass total this game so far. So not a great deal in it, despite the map control, because this part of the map just hasn't been exploited yet. Maximus pushes in with his comm, which is now gun and nano. Jidoka's gone for gun and T2, so in a straight of comm fight, I'm going to back Maximus, but... Oh, and what's this? Is this a TML? That's pretty nice. Let's see what that TML can snipe out. Maximus' spam is all down here fighting this force of Jidoka, so Maximus feels a little exposed here. That's a decent amount of spam from Jidoka. And... oh, and the TML fires. Same story here. We have Gamer pushing in on all fronts with spam, and Chaos stopping it on all fronts with spam. The TML, kaboom, hits and utterly eradicates the reclaim of a T2 Mex. Nice shot. Maximus, meanwhile, engaging here, but all of this is T1. What tech do we actually have on the field? Jidoka is on his way to T2 but has only started. Gamer everything at T1. That's it. Chaos now has T2 and we're seeing our first Arracis. And so does Maximus, so this is definitely a tech in the south versus spam in the north war. And look at all that spam. Look at this endless scuttle of Mantis running across the map. I hope you like Mantis, because we put Mantis with your Mantis. Meanwhile, that TML has fired again and taken out a second T2 Mex here, and it fires a third time. But a TMD is being rushed up by Chaos. It's not going to be in time. The TML smacks down and takes out a T2 Pigeon. So now Team 1's lead is increasing a little bit. They're nearly 30 mass per tick ahead. And that's nice. Look at that positioning. Jidoka has snuck up a T2 point defense on top of the dune so it can fire out, while the return fire might not be as good. But this is a big push from Maximus with a gun nano comm. But we've also got raids continuing to trickle in from Chaos. I think it might be time to, from Gamer against Chaos, I think it might be time to go to split screen, and actually no, let's not bother. This is going to be stopped by Chaos same as before. This is where all the action is. Maximus and Chaos, Jidoka, Jidoka. Plasma cannons being put up to defend Jidoka. Jidoka is shooting back. And there are now Arracis in the mix from Maximus. And those point defences, they can just be popped at range by Maximus's gun nanocom. There's a triad up as well, so that could be a little harder, but there's enough here, I think, to overwhelm it. And this could be Jidoka actually under quite a significant threat. So that triad is actually still up, but it's going to be overwhelmed, and Jidoka is surrounded. Down to the yellow, and Maximus still in the red. Jidoka, are you going to die, my dude? banks of T1 PD are being put up by Gamer for Jidoka to fall back to. That's nice, I like that team play. But it's only T1 PD and we've got a T2 gun nanocom with overcharge. We also have bombers from Maximus helping to whittle it down. And Jidoka is down into the red. A bomb drops on him. 2,800 hit points, because he is T2 of course, so with some vet, but he continues 1,800 hit points. These PDs are going up and Maximus falls back. Jidoka escapes with just 1,800 hit points remaining. And now it's Maximus who looks like he might be in a bit of trouble, surrounded by... We now have T2 on the field for Jidoka as well, and there are pillars coming in. And they are backed up by the relentless waves of T1 spam from Gamer, who has built a T2 factory, but is going straight for T3 there, so not stopping at T2 there. Meanwhile, Gamer has been setting up a forward far right here, but let's look at Maximus, who is under fire from all these Mantis. And Maximus in his turn goes down into the red. And he's doing his best to pop them, but 2,500 hit points, 2,200... This looks like it might be danger, but the Mantis are beginning to dry up. 1,700 hit points, 1,600. But that regen is so powerful. Still down to 1,600 though, but now we have Arracis coming in to support 1,500. Coming in to support from Chaos, and they kill their Mantis. So we just had Jidoka, who is now retreating back to his base, and Maximus, who is... not retreating quite so far. Maximus feeling a bit bold. Both, one comp from each team getting down to the red, pulling back and surviving by the skin of their teeth. Now Jidoka has made back a lot of ground in the mid-south, and he's at T3 now. He's got Titans on the field. And he's also got a support factory which he's getting up to T3 here, so Jidoka definitely in a position to hold this southeastern corner against Maximus, and he's easily going to evict Maximus from this mech here and kill that factory. Maximus still at T2, but Arracis are a great T2 unit, and against Titans they should be fine. If Jidoka starts putting out Percy's, then I would be less happy for Maximus, but Jidoka looks like he's sticking with Titans for now. And although he's finished his T3 factory, Gamer is as yet not building anything from it. He's just relying on his waves of T1, his never-ending lines of Mantis. And the same eternal spam battle is going on up here, but it feels like Chaos is going to be able to get a little bit more traction now that he's got a decent number of Arracis in there. Gamer meanwhile has set up yet more production facilities up in the north, though he hasn't switched them on yet. Extremely even ecos and mass totals, only a few mass per tick in it, only 3,000 mass per tick total in it. I would say that everybody is tied here, and speaking of Arracis versus Titans, you got that right here, though the Arracis are falling back to defend from this. This feels bad for Maximus. This feels like he should have committed here and taken those out, rather than let this force be sandwiched between enough Titans to probably kill them off. And I'm not sure Maximus has much to stop this. And Jidoka moves into sandwich the Arracis, and more Titans, supported by shields, are coming in all the time. There isn't any anti-air in... Oh yes, there is. There's that. Take that back. Maximus going for T2 to add to his gun, and nano. He's going to be a very hard com to stop when that finishes. And point defense is just being scattered liberally across the place by Chaos. Gamer has been favouring this side a lot, and I'm surprised Chaos hasn't put up more here. He's put up a couple of little T1 boys to block the actual choke point, but like 2 T2 PTs there would be more than enough to stop most of what Gamer's doing and allow Chaos to focus elsewhere. But now we do have T3 on the field at last for Gamer. We've got loyalists here. But I don't think they're enough to stop a force of this size with Chaos now has Gun T2 and Arracis in there. That was a T3 mix though, which that force just picked off, and Maximus has T3 mixes here as well, uncapped. That must have been a mistake. He must have miskicked that because he's got T2 in his base unupgraded, and this feels like trouble for Maximus, who does now have T3 production and a lot of Opiums queued up, but will that be too little too late? Now Chaos has actually managed to push up here and take out this clutch of factories with a significant number of Arracis. And there's nothing here to defend because all of Gamer's spam is coming across here. Chaos could get some work done here if he notices. Judoka has fallen back with that force. I don't agree with that. I think he could have gone in here, he could have got the HQ, he could have got some cap mixes. I think that Judoka just missed a trick there. But more mixes, this one at T2, are going to go down. And Maximus has definitely been forced a long way back by Judoka. In goes Chaos with his Arracis, and he has noticed up here, and his force is now coming across here. That should pick up a decent number of these mixes, but there are now bricks coming out from Gamer, and I think those bricks are going to be enough to stop that force. This is now becoming quite a significant base for Gamer with a decent amount of T3 production in it, shielded T2 and T1 point defences. Air has played a remarkably small part of this game. We do have these scouts, but has anybody actually got any air tech? Nope. 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 And nope. In fact, Gamer doesn't have any air at all, so no air tech on the field whatsoever, just a few T1 factories. So here is this raid getting some mixes killed, which is indeed dying to these bricks as we foretold. Now this is quite bold from Chaos. I mean, sure, he's T2 4 vets, he's got the gun, but he's quite far forward without much spam near him. Maximus, not to be outdone, is sending his comm towards a large T2 force. That seems like this could just swarm him and kill him if he were not careful. And Chaos comes down. Chaos comes down on this force, but there's T2PD, there's Loyalists. Chaos might be in a little bit of trouble here. Good, he's noticed and he's bringing his stuff in. More Loyalists come up, and Chaos is taking fire. 6,000 hit points, 5,000, and he pushes forward towards the Loyalists, and he's down to the red, 3,000 hit points. Still T2PD in range, but he's killed most of the spam and he continues to push in. This is courageous when you're in the literal red and there are two T2PDs in range of you. But his Othiums swarm forward, Chaos' comm pulls back, and this looks like a third comm we've seen being driven down into the red and then surviving. A drop is shot down by the SAM. That could have been so nice for Judoka, but there's a SAM in Maximus base and it shoots down the drop. We have had some traction gained against Gamer's base, and Gamer has also fallen in his combat, but he's got enough firepower to push this back and the shield is rebuilt. feels like Jidoka just has more here, but Maximus has that comm, which is not an insignificant force. Overall, map control is still in favour of the northeastern team, just though that raid of chaos has took out a lot of mixes here, and Gamer will need to rebuild. Gamer, meanwhile, is doing another raid down the left with 4 bricks. Neither player in the south is attacking. Now, Chaos, I think, is going to see this, no problems, and he will... Actually, will he be able to stop it? Because, I mean, sure he can see it, but what's he got that's going to stop 4 bricks there? Okay, some Othiums come out, and several Othiums are pulled back. And this feels like too much of a trickle from Gamer. This feels like they're all just going to run one at a time into Chaos's forces and die. Chaos scouts what's going on. Ooh, but watch this. We have T3 air from Jidoka, our first switch into air tech the whole game. Those bricks do indeed get picked off by the Othiums. Maximus has brought his army down to see what he can do about this, but that means that Jidoka has a chance to push in, and I think he'll be able to take out this little firebase before Maximus can get back and do anything about it. And Chaos put up some arty to try and deal with this firebase of Gamer. Are we finally getting a little spammy and a little more standoffish? Oh, but Gamer is having power problems? Gamer is having huge power problems. And I would not like to be having power problems when I'm under arty fire. And he loses a mix to it. He's putting up SAMs there, but is he putting up enough power? And that arty base is only going to get bigger. The shields pop back on in time to block the next shot, but even so. Jidoka's setting up forces in a sort of arc around Maximus, which would be nice for an attack, but not so nice for defense if Maximus decided to push in. Though we've seen Maximus push in several times and then get a little runaround from Jidoka. And where's that lot going? Nowhere yet. But look at this, that's what? That's a lot of 16 Othiums there. That's not an insignificant number. And with those Oshis as well. Feels like that's enough to fight off some of these forces. But here he is again. He's going south. And Jidoka is then coming in from the other side. Will Jidoka just pull these away so as to lure Maximus out of position again? I mean, there are more Othiums, but not enough to stop that. The artillery bombardment continues and does break through a shield. He's putting them in position to fill in the power plants to double their rate of fire if he surrounds them, or is to increase their rate of fire. I can't remember how much, but I think it's like 1.25 or 1.5 if you surround them all. And indeed, here comes Jidoka while Maximus is going around this way, so again he's pulled Maximus out of position and he's getting damage done. Nice work. Is that power? No. Is that power problem or just the shields going down? I think it might have been the actual shields going down. And oof. reclaiming here. This RT battery might be able to push Gamer back. To be fair to Maximus, he is getting work done. He's taking out a lot of production for Jidoka here. But we mentioned that T3, these are broadswords, and I don't think Maximus has any anti-air in here. What can he do to stop this? I mean, those broadswords could probably just tickle Maximus to death despite the nano, because he's so far away from any actual anti-air, and there's no decent air units to help him out. A decent number of inties from Chaos, who is heading for T3 himself, but he's nowhere near close enough to stop those broadswords, and Jidoka has a heap of ASFs, which will clean up these inties, no problems. 4 broadswords now for Jidoka. And with shields come to surround Maximus Com and protect him, and with 5 Seraphim mobile shields that will hold off the broadswords for a while. Let's go 4 broadswords. A lightning tank, but only a single lightning tank on its way. Meanwhile, this force that did damage here has done its damage and fallen back a bit, but now the broadswords come away to deal with it as Chaos sends his forces into hell. This fight goes down in the middle as a bunch of loyalists and bricks push the arty base, but there's enough ophiums there to defend it, and though the shields go down, the arty stays up and continues to bombard Gamer's firebase. And Maximus is now surrounded by 5 shields and a T3 anti-air and the broadswords. Well, the broadswords look like they might be interested, but against 5 shields, the T3 anti-air might pick them off before they get damage done. And there's a big wave of T3 anti-air coming out to help out. Those bricks now have finally got into the RT, but they are all dead, and that reclaim can easily fuel Chaos to build, well, more RT, I guess. Rebuild the RT, and the broadswords back away, not wanting to take on that many mobile anti-air units. And this looks like we've got some SAMs being spat up across Maximus' territory. So he's going for static air defense and a slow creep forward. Another brick raid round the far left from Gamer, who, if at first you don't succeed, is choosing to try again. But there's, as before, enough ophiums there in combination with the T2 point defense and now sniper bots as well to stop them, so I don't think that's going to get much traction. And Chaos still actually has a base set up here in the north, but it hasn't produced anything yet. It's got a T3 support factory and it is making ophiums, but it hasn't yet pushed out to stop Gamer reclaiming these mexes. And those bricks retreat. And Gamer is starting a megalith. Not a first experimental, what am I talking about? This chicken is nearly finished for Maximus, so Maximus is actually the first to go into experimental production. And there's that chicken up and running. Where will Maximus choose to send it? He's now got sniper bots that are advancing with his comm. He definitely needs to do what he's doing here and make sure there's a decent amount of anti-air, T3 anti-air, because that's a lot of broadswords. That is 9 broadswords so far from Jidoka, and I'm sure he's going to be making some more. Focus air, please. I got tons of mass, says Maximus. I mean, that would be nice since Chaos does now have T3 air and Maximus doesn't. The chicken comes forward. Meanwhile, bricks from Gamer head north, and this T3 factory, which has produced an ophium, might be for the chop, because I think there's enough bricks there to kill... Okay, 2 ophiums. Maybe it's not for the chop then. We'll see whether there's enough PD there and Optimum production to drive the bricks away, and it looks like there might be game of retreats. Meanwhile, the chicken from Maximus heads forward, backed up by anti-air and tanks. The snipers go a bit further south. But Jidoka has strats, 2 of them. One of them is shot down, but boom, look at that. That was what, 4 or 5 anti-airs taken out in one single glorious strat hit by Jidoka. The second strat dies, but the anti-air is now dead, and there's nothing to stop these broadswords from going to town on the chicken. Chaos has a bit of T3 air, but Jidoka has more, and Jidoka will win that air fight. Well, the broadswords just eat their way through the chicken. Poor old chicken. Looks like it's going to be chicken tonight, and Jidoka will be eating that very happily. And without any anti-air to defend it, there are these SAMs back here that we noted Maximus had been building earlier, but those broadswords can just come back and clean that up. And then fire away. So that first chicken is down and out, and the mega completes for Gamer. Where's he going to send it? If I were Gamer, I'd probably send it to take that base out first while I master bricks and then push in. Decent number of bricks, speaking of massing bricks. And Chaos has indeed rebuilt this artillery emplacement, though we still haven't put the actual P-gens in the grid to speed it up. I think that would definitely be a worthwhile investment if you're trying to crack Gamer's firebase, adding those P-gens to it. And a lot of dudes from Chaos run north, but they are mainly T1 spam, and 2 bricks at range can just eat T1 spam. So Chaos might have a problem there if Gamer manages those bricks well. Meanwhile, we have a second chicken nearly finished for Maximus, but will it go the way of the first, which he hasn't yet had a chance to reclaim. And look at all that reclaim. There's what, 30,000 reclaim in that area there? Maybe 40,000? And whoever gets their hands on it will be a happy bunny. Chaos' spam here though is going away faster than the bricks can catch it, but it runs into the megalith. That's a decent force of bricks, but it doesn't feel like it's enough to crack this little egg, which, as well as the arty, has T2PD, lots of shielding, and a bunch of Otheums, and a bunch of snipers. And Gamer agrees, and he falls back with those bricks. So here's that second chicken, but that's a large army massing against it. And Jidoka also has an XP. He's got a fatty back here. In goes the chicken. Got some support. But Jidoka has a lot. Doesn't feel like that chicken's getting a great deal done right now, and fire from the... Now, look at that, that's all Percy's now. That is a lot of Percy's, and the chicken just dies. Does not feel like Maximus is having great success with his chickens, and might need to have more actual units on the field. Not to be deterred, though, Maximus is about to finish his third chicken. That arty base continues to bombard Gamer. The broadswords have moved over here, and that's a significant number of Ilshis coming up through the middle from Chaos, but they don't have any anti-air support, and those broadswords are still alive and kicking, or if not kicking, then raining down fire from the skies, which is probably more relevant. I don't think kicking an Ilshivo would actually have much effect, because, you know, they're giant metal robots, but shooting fire on them from the skies much more effective, and the broadswords clear up the Yoshis without them getting much done. Gamer has sent the Mega to clear up this base, and it looks like it's going to do it. That's not enough Othiums to stop a Megalith, not by a long shot. The broadswords look like they're going to attack the mid. I don't like this because Chaos has ASFs and they're coming in to fight the broadswords, and the Joker is quite some way away. Oh, but the broadswords retreat. Is the Joker trying to trigger an air fight? Well, whether he's trying to or not, he doesn't. Both sides disengage without doing any real damage, and they can now see that their air forces are reasonably similar in size. I actually think Chaos has a slight advantage there. Gamer has built a monkey and Jidoka's looking at the fat boy. Let's have a quick air check. Chaos has 41 and Jidoka has 28, so actually Chaos has a significant ASF lead now and could probably use it to clean up these broadswords if he tried, especially if they're going to engage over Maximus's SAMs and tanks here. But Maximus's comm on the front line, he does have the full 5 vets, gun and nano, but look at him going straight down into the red. And the chicken opens fire again, but the chickens against Percy's, my money's on the Percy's. And that chicken into the red. These tanks are dying to PDs and the chicken, but the chicken only has 2,000 pop. The chicken's down again. And a 4th chicken for Maximus completes. This feels like he needs to change his plan because he's just losing chickens and not getting any real work done. Chaos also builds a chicken. Now that Mega it actually missed a factory up here, but that factory was only T1. Or maybe some more engineers got back in there, I didn't see. Tell me in the comments below. And that Mega is coming down here, but it's coming down on its own. Does Gamer need to act with these bricks in order to support the Megalith? Interesting position for Maximus's army there, because the unsupported chickens have been dying to Percy's and broadswords, and with a fatty in there, this feels like it's going to be no exception. The fatty opens fire on the chicken and immediately turns around to kite back. That's good play from Jidoka. Meanwhile, Othiums swarm towards the Megalith, supported by shields and by the chicken coming up from behind. The Megalith tries to back up, which it can do while firing. Good micro from Gamer. But I don't think it's going to be enough to save it from this number of Othiums and sniper bots, let alone the chicken. The Othiums swarm around it, meaning that the Mega's guns are going to have some problems. And the chicken has retreated from the Fatboy kiting it. The Othiums are definitely going to kill that Mega. Boom. Down goes the Mega, and this is now a decent force from Chaos. But that monkey we mentioned has come in here, it's smashing through the artillery base backed up by the bricks. The chicken is called back to defend. There are a few Vothus out from Chaos also poking at it. There's all these T2PD. This monkey's getting in quite deep. The air fight, meanwhile, does go down as Jidoka tries to get rid of these Vothus. And Chaos is gonna win it, as we theorize. So, and the monkey is gonna die, but it did get a decent amount of work done. It killed quite an expensive RT base. Look, there was 20,000-30,000 reclaimed there, and this army has now gone running up and around to where it might be able to get some decent work done. 2 fat boys now pushing down on Maximus. Maximus still sending in chickens one at a time, and there's a desultory amount of support here. Gamer says it's GG, North losing, but South winning for his team. The broadswords for Jidoka are caught up by Chaos's air force. Jidoka's been rebuilding, though he's got an air force, but Chaos still has enough to take it. The bricks did kill that chicken, but the chicken killed the monkey, and the bricks are actually pushing on. So this could get into Chaos's base and do some damage, but there's a lot of vehicles, and as we just saw, there's no response that Jidoka can make from the air because he's just lost air. Will these bricks get anything done? There are T3 mexes they could kill, but there's also these fatties, and there are now 2 chickens, but these fatties are just kiting them, and Maximus has taken a bit of damage. The bricks finally die. They don't actually kill any mexes, which feels like a waste of targeting. But ooh, I think we might have to go to split screen here, so let's go to split screen. Here on the left, that force that we saw coming round for Chaos has pushed down onto Gamer's firebase, and it feels like there's enough to make a good work of it, despite the number of the P2 point defenses in there. Meanwhile, Maximus's comm here, playing around on the front lines while these chickens are under fire from fatties. The 2 fatties, decent amounts of spam, feel like they're getting work done, and a bank of artillery is going up. Were I Maximus, I might have put that a bit further back and fallen back to give more of it time to go up. Because there are now 3 fatties from Jidoka, and we are seeing another bank of artillery going up further back. But the first of the chickens dies to the fatties. The second... Is that a Billy nuke? Jidoka has a Billy nuke and shoots into Gamer's old forward base, where the spam is a second monkey coming up from Gamer. Both the chickens are dead, and the fatties continue their bombardment. Maximus dodging quite well, but he hasn't got much to defend apart from that bank of arty. Now Chaos's force is coming back across to help Maximus, so I think we can go back to single screen here, so let's do that. And obviously we are most interested right now in this battle here, where Maximus has come under fire from the trio of fat boys. His arty has taken down the shields of one of the fat boys, but that's not enough to stop the fire from all 3, and Maximus is coming forward. Does he want the replay? No, he's just dodging. But that dodging doesn't feel like it's going to be enough. One of the fat boys has been distracted to come and fire on this, and Chaos pulls back. Chaos has a lot of vehicles and might be able to use them to take out a fat boy if he positions it well. Maximus is here actually reclaiming. He's trying to reclaim one of his many chicken wrecks, but he comes under fire from the fat boy and is going to have to start dodging if he doesn't wish to have problems. Is that another fatty from Jidoka? It is, that's his 4th. And I mean, Maximus is getting a decent amount of reclaiming done here. Speaking of reclaim, his team is also in the lead on eco, though that might just be that. Well, I guess it's going to be the reclaim, isn't it? The right way to see what it looks like when Maximus finishes. No, it isn't. They've got 120 lead on eco, but Maximus is into the red. Can he dodge the fat boy fire? He cannot. Maximus dies to the combined fat boy fire, and Chaos will inherit his stuff because full share is on this game. Those vehicles charge in and they rain fire down upon the fatties. Jidoka sends his anti-air to defend, but he's actually got anti-air in there. That's a decent amount of flak, and it eats the vehicles for breakfast, and Chaos hasn't defended with his ASF, so by these powers combined, the vehicles die without stopping any of the 3 fatties.
Strategic launch detected.
And Chaos has a nuke, and he launches, and Chaos actually Maximus also has a nuke which is nearly ready, which Chaos has inherited. Yikes, says Gamer. Where is it going? It looks like there, it's going for Jidoka. And this could hurt them a lot. What have they got to stop it? Nothing. Well, they've got an SMD, but it's not loaded by a long shot. One monkey, trickle of... Game's gone back to lawyers, so he's back to this spam at this stage of the game. Kaboom! Oh, that's it there. So that must mean that this nuke is aimed for down here. And
Strategic launch detected.
indeed it is. This feels painful for the northern team. If the southern team are able to actually defend against this, I might have fired that nuke here to get a quick defensive nuke to stop the fatties. But anyway, Chaos is choosing to damage the eco while they can. Trolled too much, says Jidoka. We'll see if that turns out to be the case. The fatties push in. They haven't actually got much in the way of TP defending them, so this might do some damage. And another chicken does come out from Chaos. Kaboom. These loyalists from Gamer look like they might be a threat as they come down. Where's the monkey going? The monkey is heading over here. And one of the fat boys does at last die, and it kites away from the chicken. This bank of arty plus the far from here. So these fat boys might die. Jidoka might finally be forced to fall back, even if just a little, though he does have another fatty here coming in. But where's Jidoka going to get another fatty now that his base has been nuked? And now that they're 250 mass behind Chaos. The monkey turns back as it gets spratted by Chaos. And the loyalists, they're just... This chicken is nearly completed for Chaos, but the monkey is coming for him. Could this last-ditch desperate attempt be... See, the loyalists are all dead and this chicken's about to finish, but Chaos's comm is still here building the chicken. Has he forgotten? He's forgotten to move away and focus comm, says Jidoka, and he does, and the monkey kills Chaos at the last minute. My word, excellent play from all players this game. I loved the big heaps of spam at the beginning. In Chaos's position, what would you have done about that monkey? He knew it was coming. He could have run away. Was he hoping to complete the chicken and kill it? And was Maximus doomed in the face of all those fatties, or did he simply overextend? Tell me in the comments below. While you're down there, please remember to like, subscribe, and obey. I am the Commissar, and I will see you next time.